Are lingering depression symptoms affecting you? If you're on an antidepressant and still struggling with lingering depression symptoms, ask your doctor about a lift in relief with Vraylar, cariprazine. Vraylar is a prescription medicine approved for use with antidepressant medicines to treat major depressive disorder, MDD, in adults. Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant is clinically proven to help relieve overall depression symptoms better than an antidepressant alone. Results may vary. Vraylar is not approved in elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis or for people under 18. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Difficulty moving, tremors, slow or uncontrolled body movements, restlessness, feeling like you need to move around, nausea, constipation, insomnia, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are common side effects. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. For a lift in relief, ask about adding Vraylar, Vraylar. Visit Vraylar.com or call 1-877-6-VRAYLAR to learn more.
The holidays are here at the Home Depot, so let's get to decorating. Find your perfect tree in our huge assortment of shapes, sizes, and styles. Like the easy-to-assemble Jackson Noble Fir with pre-lit branches perfect for styling with all your favorite ornaments. Or the flocked Starry Light Fraser Fir with over 1,900 pre-lit memory wire branches that keep their shape so it's ready right out of the box. Ooh. Find the perfect tree now at the Home Depot and enjoy free delivery on most holiday decor. Subject to availability. See homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This episode is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. With the new Cash Rewards Plus card, you can keep things pretty simple. Simple, like unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase. No spend categories. And now, when you spend $2K, you get $200 and a Walmart Plus annual membership. The new Cash Rewards Plus card. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Their members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. What comes to mind when you hear the word gratitude? Maybe it's a daily practice, or maybe it feels hard to be grateful right now. Don't forget to give yourself some thanks by investing in your well-being. BetterHelp is the largest online therapy provider in the world, connecting you to qualified professionals via phone, video, or message chat. Let the gratitude flow. Visit BetterHelp.com to learn more and save 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com.
Episode 457, 10 Things You Didn't Know Started as Marketing Campaigns.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are talking about some of the things we take for granted in our desires to buy stuff.
It's so interesting looking at the origin stories of what is so commonplace for us, the things we just engage in regularly, to realize this was just invented by somebody who wanted to make more money.
Yes.
And that kind of ruins everything.
Yeah. And we hope that this episode will not only entertain you, but will also get you to think about the things you take for granted in your life that you assume you want or assume you love, but is truly a product of carefully crafted marketing and just time telling Americans or wherever you are that this is what you should want. And we take that for granted. We don't think about it. And it can really cause us to overspend and impulse spend in a lot of ways. And so this is kind of a reality check in a fun, lighthearted way.
Yeah. And as promised, we will give you all an update at the end of this episode on kind of how we're doing post-hurricane. I know a lot of you all checked in on us since we do live in the Tampa Bay area. We are in St. Pete and we got hit pretty heavily here. So thank you for checking in. And if you care to know, stay tuned at the end of the episode and we'll give you our little updates. But we're here. Obviously, you're hearing our voices. So we lived through it.
Yeah. So before we get into the meat of the episode, it's brought to you by bacon and eggs. So this is actually our first one on our list of 10. You might take it for granted, but bacon and eggs are not originally breakfast foods. Did you know that outside the US, bacon and eggs aren't really eaten for breakfast? Actually, savory breakfasts are not common. And this episode was literally inspired by bacon and eggs because their popularity didn't happen by accident or just because bacon and eggs are so good, even though they are, which is why we don't think marketing is inherently evil because sometimes it can bring us things like bacon and eggs. But this in particular is brought to you by none other than Edward Bernays. Bernays' strategy was to convince the public he was hired by Big Bacon and Big Egg. So the way he did it is he had his agency's doctor, who he paid, write a letter to 5,000 other doctors and telling them this. And the doctors' responses were published in newspapers. And that was the marketing. The campaign was successful, and thus bacon and eggs became a standard part of the American breakfast.
Wow.
And so that was the inspiration for this episode. And we talk about Edward Bernays and a lot more things in our new book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. So pre-order it at buywhatyouLove.com.
I have one hole to poke in this, and it is not with pre-ordering our book. Please do that, buywhatyouLove.com.
Okay.
But sweet breakfasts are mainly American. Savory breakfasts is all over the world.
Really?
100%. We are the ones with cereal. Yeah. Europeans do meats and cheeses.
They all do pastries. You can't find a savory
African
breakfast.
countries, it is your savory foods. Yeah, savory, not sweet.
Huh.
We are like the only ones who do sweet.
There are some places where you can't get a savory breakfast. It's all a pastry and coffee. Like in Europe. Some places.
No, Europe does meats and cheeses, and they do it well. They do it so well.
Well, some places may do savory breakfast.
Yeah.
But
it's also
not
weird to me
bacon
because
and eggs,
farmers
typically.
with chickens, like, you don't need a marketing campaign to tell them, like, there's your food. You go out in the morning, you get eggs, there's your food.
Yeah, but it's usually used in like baking.
Yeah.
So people baking like cakes and muffins and stuff with eggs.
Either way, pre-order the book.
Absolutely. The book is more fact-checked maybe than my offhanded comment about breakfasts.
I do love bacon and eggs, though.
I know, right?
Any time of day for me.
So if you're interested in more kind of de-influencing and marketing like psychology episodes, we do have episode 368 where we talk about de-influencing yourself from social media. And then episode 201, how to identify manipulative advertising and marketing. So definitely two good ones to queue up for after this. But let's get started. Let's get into this list. We've got 9 more for you.
Yeah. So this article comes from BuzzFeed. It's 18 things you never knew started as marketing ploys. And the first one for me actually is not on this list. It is something that comes from our book.
Well, tell the people why.
Because so many of the things that I was going to talk about from this list were inaccurate.
Yeah.
I am on a fact-checking roll here. So that's why I'm pushing back on the what other countries eat for breakfast thing. But they listed Father's Day as being a part of a marketing ploy. And what was the other one? We'll get there, but they weren't. They were something else.
Don't
other history
trust
behind
BuzzFeed for your news, especially when they don't cite sources.
Yeah, they had no links in it. So we had to fact check, but everything we're about to tell you is accurate as far as we can tell.
Right. Yeah. We did our own fact checking, and there are some things on the list that are accurate.
Okay, so here we go. We're starting with the first one that we learned about through writing this book, and it is women smoking cigarettes became wildly popular out of a marketing effort begun by Edward Bernays. So the same dude that Jen just mentioned in our fake sponsor at the beginning. He is considered the father of public relations, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, like the psychology Sigmund Freud. So he learned a lot from his uncle and employed a lot of understanding about human psychology into his marketing practices. So he was hired in 1927 by the American Tobacco Company, and his first strategy was to try to persuade women to smoke. And as part of this, he was helping this American Tobacco Company to advertise cigarettes as being helpful to the ideal of thinness, like equating smoking cigarettes, staving off hunger, and achieving this thinness for women.
Part of the advertising was smoke a cigarette instead of having a sweet.
And he also combined smoking cigarettes with the suffrage movement and called cigarettes torches of freedom. And that if women were smoking cigarettes, they were also out here voting, just being independent ladies. And it worked, my friends. Female smoking went up significantly thanks to our guy, Edward Bernays. He also wrote propaganda in 1928, so he talked about how to literally engineer consent, tapping into people's unconscious impulses to see products as something that they want to have, believing that he could sell middle-class consumers products that they didn't actually need. And a lot of our marketing strategies that we see today are built on a lot of Bernays's ideas.
Yeah.
Well, because he was so successful.
And yeah, we talk about some of this in the book. So buywhatyoulovebook.com, and you can understand more of how this marketing came to be, and then also like how you can combat it. Again, we don't think marketing is evil. It's knowing when you are being engineered to desire, when desire is being manufactured. That's actually the chapter title name is Manufactured Desire. All right, so now we will join the list. And I will start out with number 4, which is green bean casserole. Green bean casserole, Thanksgiving's coming up. We love it. It was actually invented by Campbell's to sell more green beans and cream of mushroom soup. And I mean, if they had made those crispy little onions,
hats off to them.
Hats off, but they didn't. So it was to sell more of those 2 products that they manufacture.
This is what I'm not mad about.
Amen. Green bean casserole, I believe, is the best side.
Listen, if you're going to discover something and create a recipe that's just banging and the rest of us fall for it, then
that's good
marketing. A win-win-win, I think. Because green bean casserole is also really inexpensive to make. So thanks, Campbell's.
Yay.
Okay, the next one on my list is kind of a combination of 6 and 7, but also holes to poke. So they originally said that the diamond company De Beers invented or came up with giving a diamond engagement ring in the 1930s as your proposal, and that's just not true. It actually dates back to like the 1400s, where
royalty, somebody royal had done it.
Given a diamond engagement ring, and it became popular among European aristocrats. However, what is true is that De Beers, this large diamond company, was responsible in the 1930s for putting the amount of money that someone should spend on an engagement ring. They listed 1 month. It should be 1 month salary should be spent on a diamond engagement ring in particular. And there's also evidence to point at, prior to this, diamond engagement rings were not as popular pre-1930s as they were after that. The diamond company, going through the Depression, and really needed to kind of ramp up their efforts of people purchasing diamonds because it just wasn't priority for people going through the depression. So this was their marketing campaign was, here's how much you should be spending on a diamond ring. And the tables did shift a little bit where I think other stones were often used in engagement rings. Like the engagement ring wasn't necessarily this brand new concept, but specifically it becoming a diamond engagement ring, it can be linked back to De Beers.
Yeah. But it grew into up to 3 months' salary. Like other diamond companies just took it and ran with it to the point where it got up to the 3-month rule. But it just started as a 1-month rule from De Beers.
I saw one of the original ads and it said when it was at 2 months, when the recommendation was a 2-month salary, it was like, give her a sense of what the future will look like by spending 2 months' salary. So it's like you can see what your future will hold by the size of the diamond that you now have on your hand. And it's a little icky. All a little icky.
The comments out of all of them, the comments had most pushback on this one because everyone knew it was just like full of it. Like it was extremely marketing heavy.
My great-grandparents were married during the Great Depression or maybe just before it. And she never did have an engagement ring, only a wedding band. So yeah, I think at least particularly in that time, it was not as common.
Yeah. All right. So the next one for me is number 8. Wedding registries were invented by a Chicago department store. You know, that obligatory feeling to buy things for your friends who are getting married. It started as a kind of quote unquote, maybe like altruistic, an altruistic way, because I guess couples before the wedding registry would get duplicates and triplicates of in vogue gifts, and they would get china patterns they didn't want and all of this. Oh, woe is me. So this department store in Chicago created the first wedding registry so couples wouldn't have to fear getting gifts they didn't want. Everyone would get them gifts that they knew they want. And actually, it would be easier for the shopper to buy that gift knowing full well, yes, the couple wants what I'm getting them. But they were the only one that had it. So this drew more couples to create registries at this department store so that they would gain more business. And then the registries just snowballed from there. Everyone had a wedding registry. And then people started doing baby registries naturally. And then there were just gift registries, just like, I'm turning 39, here's my gift registry at Walmart. I used to say, Walmart had like a wedding registry, baby registry, and then just like a gift registry for like whatever. So,
did you say I'm turning 39? Here's my registry at Walmart. Wow. Goals. I mean, we're not there yet, but 4 years from now. Wow.
I know. I'm only 35. Yeah. So goals. But yeah, all these registries were literally made to bring more business to a particular department store. And yeah, they may be a little kind, but it shouldn't pressure us into like overspending on these gifts.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. Maybe that's because so much of your personal information is out of your control. Like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information is vulnerable. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock US-based restoration specialist will help solve identity theft issues on your behalf, guaranteed, or your money back. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. You might not be able to control how others handle your personal information, but you can help protect it with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/iHeart. That's 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com/iHeart. Terms apply.
The holidays are officially here at the Home Depot, which means it's time to deck the halls and your home with festive cheer. If you're on the hunt for the perfect tree, we've got you covered. Explore our huge assortment of trees in all shapes, sizes, and styles. Designed to fit any holiday vibe and every holiday budget, like the Jackson Noble Fir. It's not only super easy to assemble, but it also comes pre-lit with 1,200 color-changing bulbs and multiple lighting functions. Or maybe the flocked Starry Light Fraser fir is more your style. With over 1,900 pre-lit memory wire branches that hold their shape, this tree's ready to shine right out of the box.
Ooh, wow.
Whether it's trees, wreaths, or twinkling lights, we've got everything you need to make your home holiday ready. So shop now at HomeDepot.com and enjoy free delivery on most holiday decor. Subject to availability, see HomeDepot.com/delivery for details.
Wow. What is this place? Welcome to Cloud9. How exactly did I get here? You're a Toyota Crown driver. And only Crown drivers ever reach this level of pure bliss. The refined but elegant design makes you sit up a little straighter. It gives you a rush of confidence as soon as you're behind the wheel and a feeling of all eyes on you. That's how the Crown transports you here. It's pretty awesome, right?
The captivating Toyota Crown family. Toyota, let's go places.
If you or a loved one are managing a challenging mental health condition, you may be running out of patience. I want to tell you about a better option. Hi, I'm Jenny Garth, host of the I Choose Me podcast. If you're frustrated with the pace of weekly therapy, consider spending some dedicated time working on you at Amend Treatment. Amend is a 30-day residential mental health treatment center, thoughtfully designed to give you the space you need to break through. The unique locations surround you in natural beauty. Amend's dedicated team of doctors and therapists have deep clinical expertise. Your care is tailored specifically to your needs. Amend has 2 beautiful locations in Malibu, California. Find out more at amendtreatment.com/start.
Hey, it's Austin James. Yes, I'm living with diabetes, but it doesn't have to define me. Thanks to the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor, I get real-time glucose readings throughout the day. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor is small and easy to wear, giving me the freedom to focus on my life as a parent and a musician. Now this is progress. You can get a free sensor at freestylelibre.us.
Offer available for people who qualify. Visit myfreestyle.us to see all terms and conditions. Certain exclusions apply. Data on file, Abbott Diabetes Care. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
My next one on this list is the Miss America pageant. Started as a way to bring people to Atlantic City. I fact-checked this, and it's true, folks. It
Atlantic
was just
City tourism
a way
board
to keep people to stay in the area post Labor Day. They wanted people to stay longer. So they're like, maybe if we make women parade around in dresses, they'll stick around.
And it clearly worked. Clearly. But not just in... Is it still in Atlantic City? Like, is that where it always is?
I had no idea it was in Atlantic City. I don't know. The event created in 1921 to keep tourists coming to the boardwalk past Labor Day.
Wow.
Are you looking it up? You're looking at if it's still in Atlantic City?
What comes up now is Miss Americana, the Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Talk about a marketing
Nobody
campaign.
cares about Miss America anymore.
Talk about a true marketer. I mean, Taylor Swift is good, but how she gets people to break the internet and spend all their money is insane. There are other good musicians out there, and they can't do what Taylor Swift is doing.
That's so true. She is also a marketing scheme.
She's a marketing
But again,
campaign.
marketing isn't evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's in Atlantic City, but you let us know if you know.
I'm gonna. You go your next one. I'll keep the research alive.
All right. So the next one for me. This is where we get real spicy, ladies, is number 11. Women didn't shave their armpits until Gillette told them they should. And this is 100% true. So Gillette was already a household name for men. They were sold in Army supply stores. Every soldier in 1901 had a safety razor from Gillette. So then we have the Industrial Revolution. We have more manufacturing of these really inexpensive items. And so much of big like box stores and all this the reason they were able to gain popularity and really push out mom and pop stores was because of mass production. And so, oh, I know, I did the same. The sound, you got to turn the sound off on your computer when you're doing research mid-episode.
Oopsie.
So the way, and we learned this, again, this is in the book. I don't want to like beat it over your head, but we talk about how the really important thing for these big companies is the way to stay profitable is that they could no longer just meet demand. They had to manufacture desire. And so what Gillette did is they were already in every man's hand, but there was no reason for women to shave. They weren't shaving their heads or their mustaches or their facial hair, right? So they had to figure out, how do we get a razor in every woman's hand? Well, we make the idea of having hairy armpits unattractive. And that is how they did it. Gillette manufactured a beautiful female safety razor, and they made the idea of being hairless more attractive than the idea of having hair on your underarms.
Back to Miss America. Still can't totally tell, but it does seem like 2024. It's going to be in Florida.
Oh, okay.
So it obviously is not always in Atlantic City, but I don't know when that shift happened. And I should probably just pay attention to what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Which my next one is connected to that, women shaving their legs. So very similarly, kind of manufacturers of hygiene products sought to capitalize on changing fashion trends. It was Gillette. And so I found this quote from the Smithsonian that underscores what you were just describing, Jen. They said, American beauty standards and marketing of the safety... American beauty standards and practices for women were also affected by the innovation and marketing of the safety razor. Beginning in the early 20th century, manufacturers of safety razors seeking to expand their market promoted the idea that body hair on women is inherently masculine and indelicate, as well as unhygienic. Gillette introduced the first razor marketed specifically to women called the Milady Décolleté in 1915. In the 1920s, the new fashion for sleeveless tops and short dresses meant that legs and armpits of American women were now visible in social situations, and advertisers seized the opportunity to encourage women to shave their legs and their armpits. I also read on the Smithsonian website about how they were really intentional about not using the word shave, because the word shave was associated with the male
masculine,
act,
yes,
and very masculine to shave your face. So they used words like smooth, like get smooth legs, be clean, smell good.
Yeah, they used it as hygiene. I mean, if I had a Milady Décolleté, I might feel differently too.
You do. You probably do.
Yeah.
You've got a Milady.
I know. And I have been conditioned, honestly. I do like to shave my armpits. I don't have a lot of hair on my legs, so I don't really shave those. But like, yeah, I have been conditioned. And socially, now it's socially awkward to have hair on your legs and armpits.
I remember begging my mom to shave my legs. Like, remember when you were younger and you had to ask your parents for permission to do everything?
Yeah.
Sometimes being an adult is better.
But
she would not let me shave, but I got made fun of.
Yeah.
All the girls would be like, oh, your mom doesn't let you shave your hairy legs. Your hair's so long.
It is so bizarre. And the only person it benefits is men. Because that was all men in that room with that marketing strategy who wanted to sell more razors. Like, it is truly the definition of the pink tax.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. All right. Moving on. This is number 13. And I feel like we missed one or did an extra one. But I'm going to go. Oh, yeah. You only had 4. I have 5. Okay. We're going to do the last one together because that's a real big one. My next one is Oprah's famous car giveaway was really just a giant ad for General Motors.
And we all knew that. We knew Oprah wasn't paying for all these vehicles.
Well, yeah, we know. But it was for GM to promote Pontiac, which is now defunct, but their new G6. But what I really wanted to talk about was these GM ads, like really old GM ads, because their ads say things like so from the 1950s, they show all these GMs and they're like, the key to a richer life, with a little car key next to it. And then you've got one from 1955 with a man and a woman. They look like maybe they're on a date, and it's a Cadillac ad. And it says, for the sheer joy of living.
Oh, wow.
Like, it is literally taking this thing that may be needed by some, but definitely isn't needed by everyone. And so for the people who don't need it, they are trying to convince them, like, this is how you live your rich life. This is how you enjoy life.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. And so now, even across other car companies, we see having a nice car as the key to a good life. That is a status symbol for others and yourself to know you are living a good life, even if you can't afford that car.
Related to GM, hot take. This is Jill speaking. So if you're mad, take me down. I'm willing to stand on this one.
Oh no, wow.
The Barbie movie was a GM ad. I know everybody was out here talking about their love of the Barbie movie. It was fine. It was fun. It was colorful. It was a marketing campaign for General Motors and really themselves, because the amount that we then all spent on Barbie paraphernalia, the clothes, the dolls, the resurgence. It was an advertisement.
Characters were in car ads too. Did you know that? You are telling the truth. This is not a hot take. This is real.
Yeah. But like anyone who watched that movie and just didn't feel like they were sitting through a whole commercial is like wild to me.
Well, one of the reasons they were able to make it with the budget they had is because Mattel gave them so much money.
Yeah. It just was a whole commercial. Everyone's like, did you like the Barbie movie? And Eric and I were like, you mean the General Motors ad that we watched for an hour and a half?
It was a fantastic movie. Commercials can be fantastic, right? There are some amazing commercials. You just have to know what you're watching. It was a huge commercial.
That they primarily did this. Yeah, we got some entertainment out of it, but they did it so that they could get all of our money out of it. And I think that's the awareness piece that I think can help us make more informed decisions. Like, and maybe I'm a little bit more stubborn in this, but no, I'm not going to go out and buy a bunch of Mattel products because I just watched the Barbie movie. I enjoyed being entertained, but I'm not going to now go and give you all my money.
It's the Chevy Blazer. That was a specific car. Chevy Blazer.
There was Suburban. There was,
all of them. But the Chevy
Corvette.
Blazer was the one they were actually in the car commercial for.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, it was all of them. You're so right.
And speaking of vehicles, I just learned something else recently. Sorry, this episode is becoming longer than you wanted it to be. Michelin star restaurants are actually, it was started by Michelin, the tire company. And as part of their marketing ploy, a very interesting connection that they made here, but it was something along the lines of how far the tires can take you and where these tires can take you. And so they started to have these restaurants that they wanted to recommend. And I think they even had like motels that they would partner with, like go here, stay here, and eat here. These are the places that we would recommend for you. So your tires can take you to
it's not
these
like
restaurants.
Your tires can take you. We want people to drive more so their tires wear out faster. So they replace them more frequently.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we all want to flock to these Michelin star restaurants because a tire company told us
a tire company.
Company told us to.
How crazy. Okay, so we got to do the very last one, and it is the creme de la creme. The modern character of Santa was heavily influenced. This is started by, but I want to say heavily influenced and subsidized by Coca-Cola. It is, and Coca-Cola will tell you. They are not shy about saying
I'm sure they're so proud of it.
They are proud of it.
We made this up.
Before Coca-Cola, and actually Coca-Cola was using Santa Claus ads before this rebrand, before this glow up. But they had pictures. Santa was kind of like a gaunt, maybe elfish guy, right? Not the wholesome person you'd take your kids to at the mall. And so Coca-Cola was integral in funding artists to rebrand this Santa Claus, specifically holding a Coke. And this led to, obviously, what we know as having to tell our kids, no, you can't have that, but you can ask Santa for it. And who is Santa? Why does Santa come down my chimney? Santa isn't real, baby. But, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for saying that. It's a joke. It's a lie. I'm so sorry.
Santa is real. It's just maybe not exactly in the way that Coca-Cola would have you think.
And then having Santa in the malls to bring more kids to the mall so they buy more things for Christmas. It's just been integral to the catalyst for overconsumption around the holidays. It was this one thing. They wanted to make the Santa more approachable, more likable, to sell more Coca-Cola. And it led to what we see now.
To be fair, I mean, not entirely out of nowhere. They used inspiration from Clement Clark Moore's 1822 poem. So the Coca-Cola's rendition of Santa Claus, the modern Santa Claus as we know it, was like 1930s. But the poem, The Night Before Christmas, was written in 1822 and did describe this kind of Saint Nick, warm, friendly, pleasant, plump, coming down the chimney. So it's not, the whole thing wasn't entirely invented by Coca-Cola.
And
but
the chimneys weren't that big. It's a poem just wrought with, like, you just can't. How does he get down a chimney?
You have not watched enough Christmas movies. You need to watch The Santa Claus with Tim Allen to understand.
I've seen it. Yeah, the 90s were great for justifying inaccuracies. But you know what's not an inaccuracy?
And would have been great in the 90s, would have been great in the 2000s, and here we are in the 20s.
Great.
The Bill of the Week!
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hello, Jen and Jill. I am so excited to give you a Bill of the Week. My daughter turns 1 in August, and I just want you guys to know that I had a whole human for $700 and something. I had 2 insurance policies, one through my employer, one through my husband's employer, and they took care of everything except for a few prenatal things that totaled up to the 700 something. So yeah, there you go. If you have a spouse, get in on their insurance policy and you can have a whole human too for like less than $1,000. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Avery, but I'm sure it's costing you more than $1,000 to have that baby.
Keeping that baby alive.
I know. It doesn't actually have to be that expensive to raise a child, but it can be very expensive to have the child.
Yeah.
Safely.
I love you can have a whole human for under $1,000. I feel like the whole thing is such a natural biological thing. It pains me that any of it costs that much money. Like,
it does.
You should be able to have your child and
it should be a basic human right to have a child safely for free.
Yes.
That's the thing, is like people on social media are saying like, I don't have any prenatal care or go to a hospital to have my babies. No, that's unsafe. Yeah, it's free, but it's not safe. But it should be like a human right to the baby should be born safely for free.
I'm so
That's
glad
my
that you
other
were
political
able.
platform.
I was going to say,
I'm a
you have a
two-issue
two
voter
issue?
now.
It's the libraries and it's the having whole humans.
Yeah, for free.
For free. Wow.
Amen.
I'm so happy for you, Avery, that you were able to hack it even without this being
basic
enacted.
human right that I have proposed to Congress.
If you all are listening and you want to submit a bill about your whole human, whether they didn't cost a lot or they are costing a lot or you don't mind paying a lot for them, or just your name is Bill or your baby's name is Bill, frugalfriendspodcast.com/Bill. We can't wait to hear it.
The holidays are officially here at the Home Depot, which means it's time to deck the halls and your home with festive cheer. If you're on the hunt for the perfect tree, we've got you covered. Explore our huge assortment of trees in all shapes, sizes, and styles. Designed to fit any holiday vibe and every holiday budget, like the Jackson Noble Fir. It's not only super easy to assemble, but it also comes pre-lit with 1,200 color-changing bulbs and multiple lighting functions. Or maybe the flocked Starry Light Fraser fir is more your style. With over 1,900 pre-lit memory wire branches that hold their shape, this tree's ready to shine right out of the box.
Ooh, wow.
Whether it's trees, wreaths, or twinkling lights, we've got everything you need to make your home holiday ready. So shop now at HomeDepot.com and enjoy free delivery on most holiday decor. Subject to availability, see HomeDepot.com/delivery for details.
Wow. What is this place? Welcome to Cloud9. How exactly did I get here? You're a Toyota Crown driver. And only Crown drivers ever reach this level of pure bliss. The refined but elegant design makes you sit up a little straighter. It gives you a rush of confidence as soon as you're behind the wheel and a feeling of all eyes on you. That's how the Crown transports you here. It's pretty awesome, right?
The captivating Toyota Crown family. Toyota, let's go places.
If you or a loved one are managing a challenging mental health condition, you may be running out of patience. I want to tell you about a better option. Hi, I'm Jenny Garth, host of the I Choose Me podcast. If you're frustrated with the pace of weekly therapy, consider spending some dedicated time working on you at Amend Treatment. Amend is a 30-day residential mental health treatment center, thoughtfully designed to give you the space you need to break through. The unique locations surround you in natural beauty. Amend's dedicated team of doctors and therapists have deep clinical expertise. Your care is tailored specifically to your needs. Amend has 2 beautiful locations in Malibu, California. Find out more at amendtreatment.com/start.
Hey, it's Austin James. Yes, I'm living with diabetes, but it doesn't have to define me. Thanks to the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor, I get real-time glucose readings throughout the day. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor is small and easy to wear, giving me the freedom to focus on my life as a parent and a musician. Now this is progress. You can get a free sensor at freestylelibre.us.
Offer available for people who qualify. Visit myfreestyle.us to see all terms and conditions. Certain exclusions apply. Data on file, Abbott Diabetes Care. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sounds like wipers. If your wipers are streaking, skipping, chattering, or even worse, loud, you need to visit AutoZone and get some fresh new blades. We've got basic wipers to get you back on the road, as well as premium blades from Bosch and Rain-X. So if you're hearing this, just head to your nearest AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And now it's time for the lightning round.
Okay, what is something you think desperately needs a marketing glow up? A fresh marketing approach? Let me just get more of those plosives in there for your ears. Okay, so I think it's dates, Medjool dates. Oh. They are nature's candy, and I have been on a date kick, like dates and peanut butter. I think they're just so good. They're a natural sweet treat, and I have a sweet tooth. I have a sweet tooth, like probably my whole mouth. Sweet teeth.
Here's the thing, though. If it gets a marketing glow up, then doesn't that drive prices up? I kind of want grungy things to stay grunge if I like it.
This is theoretical. So in reality, yeah, I mean, dates are not that cheap. like to start.
So imagine what would happen.
I know.
If Whole Foods got their hands on it.
Oh, they already, I mean, these are a Whole Foods.
Yeah.
This is a bougie snack, Jill. Dates are bougie. But yeah, I haven't seen them in any marketing plans. Like, I would love to see them glow up.
Yeah.
I would rather see ads for that than ads for half the things I'm seeing. Like I could take a course to learn how to start a handyman business. That's I'm getting ads like that. No, I'd rather see an ad for delicious dates.
Yeah.
Dates with little arms and legs that are dancing, kind of like the raisin or the prune commercials.
Yeah.
I want to see them get a prune glow up because they're better. Fight me.
Not on that. I won't fight you on that. No.
All right, Jill.
Okay. This might prove that I don't even totally understand marketing, but I'd love to see a glow up for the service industry, like baristas.
You can't buy baristas.
You can pay them though. Here's why. I love working with my hands. Something I've learned about myself over the years is I really enjoy labor, manual, physical labor. And I'm so sad that these industries don't make enough money to live off of, because
you'd be a barista.
Catch me working with my hands as my very favorite job.
Catch me at Starbucks.
But I can't. No, it would not be Starbucks. You all know. It would not be Starbucks.
No, it would not.
I wish that these industries were like more highly valued or able to be paid more, because I'd love that career.
Okay, I don't know if you do understand marketing, but I love where your head went. Like, that is truly lovely. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, if we just,
I don't think coffee needs a glow up. Coffee doesn't need to be more expensive. I think we just need to keep more of it out of the hands of the C-suite and pay baristas more.
Yeah. And I think de-influencing needs a marketing campaign. I like seeing it, but I wonder at what point is this going to get shushed and silenced? Because we're out here trying to de-influence people from buying things, but that's not going to make anybody money.
Yeah.
But I am loving to see the content. We're not the only ones talking about it. And I just wonder when it's all going to end.
That's the thing I love about podcasting is we don't have an algorithm. Yeah. So we can't chase an algorithm, but we also don't have any fear
that's true.
of being pushed down because of it. And even the recommendations for podcasts, based on others you've watched, are sometimes totally random. None of it makes sense.
And I love that. We love that chaos.
I do love the chaos of it.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you have it. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. We hope that you at least understand more about marketing than maybe I do. We love reading your reviews, like this one, who comes from Kamikani31, one of my faves, 5 stars. This is one of my favorite podcasts, not just one of my favorite ones about budget and finance, but overall, these two, Keep It Real, are super authentic and extremely relatable. Their tips, tricks, and advice always get me excited. They bring on top-notch, I'm going to assume that word meant to be there. This is one of the podcasts I always recommend to friends. Thank you so much, Kamikani31.
Yeah. We love being your favorites. Thank you. If you feel like we also offer relatable tips, tricks, advice, if you loved this episode and you were like, oh my gosh, I learned something new today, please leave us a rating and review on Spotify or Apple and let other people know that this is valuable to listen to.
Thanks, and see you next time.
Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Siriani. Alrighty. Well, we have kept the people waiting long enough. So,
Helene,
the
Then Milton.
And then Milton. I think we have more stories about Milton because we did record an episode after Helene. But yeah.
It's been wild. Even friends from out of state have asked, like, how are you doing? And I think what I've come to is it's really hard to put words to exactly what it feels like or how we're recovering when you face losing your house and everything you own and pack everything up and move back in 2 times within 10 days.
Yeah.
Like there was such a stress toll. And then to watch everyone around you. And that's the interesting thing about a natural disaster is you're all in it. It's not an individual crisis. It's a communal crisis. And there's something really bonding about that. And there's something really overwhelming when you're in it. Mm-hmm. And the whole world feels like your world, what you can see, is collapsing and is absolutely devastated. There was no food at the grocery stores, and many of our friends did lose everything. Houses flooded 3 to 4 feet, and communities just absolutely decimated. And then you kind of get that trauma response where you're just like sucked in, and so it's all we're talking about. It's all we're watching on the news because we do also have to be prepared. And you go to the store and everybody's frantic and they're out of everything and the supplies are gone.
Before the hurricane and after, it was so hard to find gas for cars and generators.
Yeah. It was insanity.
Yeah. It was, okay, so my family's story for Milton was quite an adventure. We evacuated to my in-laws. They have a farm, so they have a walk-in freezer, big generator to power that walk-in freezer, wine. Like, they have all the things you need for a hurricane.
Yeah.
And it was an hour north, so the Milton kept tracking a little bit more south. Mm-hmm. So we went north, and they'd never flooded. 40 years they've owned the property, never flooded. And within 24 hours, there was 2 feet of water in their winery. And the next day, by lunchtime, it had risen a foot because they opened a levee to relieve flooding elsewhere, and that created flooding in my in-laws' neighborhood. And so
wild.
By the afternoon after the hurricane, I didn't know what was happening at my house. There was 3 feet of water in the winery. All their crops were covered. Travis dropped his phone in the floodwater, totally lost it. And there's 6 inches of water in the house's kitchen, which is a little lower than the rest of the house. So the rest of the house was fine, but the generator flooded. So all of their food for their business completely gone. There was no potable water. There was no flushing of toilets. We were very much stranded on an island with nothing. And so Travis and my brother-in-law are just kayaking around because what do you do, right? And they found a guy who was rescuing people. Mm. And there were some people that had little John boats. And so we had to be literally rescued from the property via a little boat and then via a monster truck, because it wasn't just the farm that was flooded, it was the road.
Everywhere, yeah.
And they had to in order to get emergency services in, they actually had to create a new pathway into the community through people's private property. Mm-hmm. We had to leave our car there because we had moved it to higher ground before the water, while the water was raising the next day. It was beautiful weather outside. It was just the water kept rising. Mm-hmm. And it was a week before we could go back and get the van because the water was so high we wouldn't have been able to drive it out. We still wouldn't have been able to drive it out through the road. We had to take that back route.
So crazy with 2 kids. When you sent me that photo of your boys and car seats in this boat. Oh my gosh. And so stressful.
I'm freaking out because if this is how this flooded, Helene and Milton were so different because Helene was surge. So if you were on the water, you got salt water, right? Milton was totally different. Everyone on the coast was totally fine. It was 16 inches of rain and 80 to 100 mile per mile hour wind. So it was all trees down and not snapped in half. The ground was so saturated that these trees' root systems came up out of the ground, took huge swaths of lawn with them, and were falling on houses.
Yeah.
And then so much rain is getting in through the roof then. I was horrified because we have so many trees on our property. And I was just, and then like Jill and Eric, you went like and took pictures, helped me know that everything was okay, because we still were figuring out how do we get back.
Yeah, and you hadn't heard from neighbors what your house looked like, and I was like, oh gosh, we'll go drive there. We'll go tell you what your house looks like.
Half of our neighbors are snowbirds, so they weren't even there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys like let us know, like gave us peace of mind, took pictures, and I like was spiraling out with anxiety in those pictures. Like I cried when I got them because I just knew that the house was okay.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there were a lot of trees down, but they fell in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then like you texted me and you're like, hey, what's the code to your door? I need to use the bathroom. And you were at my house cleaning up debris while I'm still stuck up north. And when we were evacuated, we went to my sister-in-law's house, which was like still up north, but had power. And I mean, I was just like, I am going to cry now thinking about it. But it was it was emotionally draining.
I mean, that's what friends do. And I felt for you guys so much with what you went through, being on the farm, losing so much already, being emergency evacuated with kids. We couldn't figure it all out, but we're like, if we can take the boards off the windows and clear the path to the driveway and clear out the front yard, like that'll be so nice. I'm like, I would want that for myself if I were in your situation.
Yeah.
So we had somehow the time and energy to be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, we were all out of power for so long, both after Helene, then after Milton. We didn't have internet and we were just in like crisis mode. So, but thankfully, because of the jobs that we have, I was able to just say, we're not working this week. And so we're cleaning up
for a month.
Yeah, we're cleaning up our own property. And when we're done with that, we're going to go help neighbors clean up their properties. And I watched other people's kids while they tried to get to work themselves because schools were out for like almost 2 weeks straight. It was just wild. For us, we do live close to the water. So in Helene, our whole property flooded. Like our garage, there was 8 inches of water up on our entire house. Thankfully, it was like 1 inch away from getting into the doors, but it did saturate some of the like exterior parts of the house that aren't block, which then started to cause mold issues. So in between Helene and Milton, we were ripping off our siding, pulling out insulation, replacing studs because we were already in our bedroom and bathroom, like getting mold issues in the drywall in there. So it was like a race against the clock to seal back up the house, get it all sealed again before Milton hit. And they were guessing for Milton to be even worse than what Helene did. So we packed up everything that was valuable to us, put it 5 feet, up on counters and cabinet tops and all of that. And thankfully, the worst that we got through Milton was 2 trees fell on our garage. And the rest are leaning pretty heavily. So we're hoping insurance. We still don't know, though. Like a lot of us are still facing the not knowing what will insurance do. The trees are still on our garage. We're just parking out front. It's one of those things where it's like, it could be worse. And as you look around, you see the worst literally in your own neighborhood, while also recognizing that this was a very difficult, like kind of traumatic time that we all went through. And the nuisances are not great either. But
it's bizarre to have a whole community traumatized together. And I mean, we were just talking about, I think the worst that we've seen was a very large oak tree blew over and was so large and close to the home that its root system uprooted the front sunroom of the house.
It was wild looking. Yeah.
It was,
It was a lot of things combining together where you had that saturation like you described. For us, the salt water kills plants. So to have our property flooded with salt water, we've got these massive live oaks, other types of oak trees on our property. And now, that has killed them. And then Milton comes in with its high winds and just like knocked them out where they might have been sturdy enough otherwise. So it's this combination that just made for a lot of devastation that we're still recovering from. We're recording this on October 30th, and debris and drywall and people's just belongings that got flooded out have not yet been disposed of.
Yeah, you can still see entire blocks.
Yeah.
Like in multiple streets where everybody's lives are on their front lawns.
Yeah.
It is scary.
Yeah. It is wild.
Yeah.
Takeaway is insure yourself, even if you think you don't need it. Have insurance. That how many people we've heard through this and what they faced in North Carolina of they didn't have insurance because they're not in a flood zone. Why would they? And so just be like protecting yourself as much as possible. This is why we have emergency funds. And it's why we have community mostly. I mean, honestly, where the money isn't actually going to help or insurance isn't actually going to pay out, it's been community that has been so helpful through this.
Yeah, something I was thinking about, like even with an emergency fund, there was no restaurant open to buy food from. There was no food in the grocery store. The lines were hours long to get gas. You waste your gas just trying to get gas.
Yeah.
Like money could not buy the thing. Like it didn't matter if you had money or emergency fund or anything.
In those
right?
moments, yeah.
It was World Central Kitchen who was bringing hot meals. Like they were funding food trucks to make and pass out free meals.
Yeah.
And it was like churches helping people with their coming in, just random people coming in with chainsaws because your tree might fall over. The city will not pick it up unless it's cut into like 2 or 3 foot chunks and moved into a pile.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just people like coming together. And you couldn't, even if you wanted to hire a tree service, you couldn't because they were all like, there were so many reasons to believe in community, like above all else.
We got so much closer to our neighbors through this, which is like, that's I guess a hope-filled piece in it. Not that I want to go through devastation like this, but the cool thing in it is the connections that were like more solidified and the bonds made through it, which is beautiful. So thanks everyone for checking in on us. We really did appreciate your messages and seeing how we are. And sorry it took so long, but again, we did not have internet or brain space whatsoever until now. So we're here. We're still recovering, but we're so grateful for jobs like this and the flexibility to allow ourselves that space to recover and to be able to help others with some of our time and flexibility. So if you are looking for a way to support us, I mean, truly, it would be in pre-ordering our book. Of course, if you come across other opportunities to give money to help support ongoing volunteer efforts, please do that. If you're looking for ways to support specifically us, your frugal friends, things like pre-ordering the book, leaving us kind reviews on Spotify or Apple, this is what helps us to be able to continue doing this, to have the flexibility, to be present for our community. Like this is it, truly.
Yeah, I would say if you're looking for a specific place to give, World Central Kitchen was vital to feeding so many people. We lost all of our food. We were out of power for 6 days, and we would show up places and get a free hot meal.
Yeah.
And there was one day they ran out of chicken, and it was just like a bowl of rice with some bang bang sauce on top. And this is going to show, this was probably my lowest point maybe. We were in the truck on the way home. We had to stop and get milk for Atlas.
Yeah.
And we couldn't buy a big gallon like we normally did. Every night we would have to stop and just get a little thing of milk.
Whoa.
Right? And so we're on our nightly milk hunt.
Dang.
And I thought I was going to wait till I get home to eat the rice. And I'm just like in the car eating it with my fingers. Like it was a low point. But like it really, World Central Kitchen was really an amazing organization for what they did here and what they're doing for all natural disaster like victims.
That's cool. A helpful takeaway too, and you actually highlighted this at one point. Like there are people giving food, but it's a lot of hot dogs and pizza. Like we lived off of hot dogs and pizza for too many days. As much as I love hot dogs, I reached my point on it. And I remember you said something in between the two hurricanes when we were trying to figure out like how can we help other people, and you were like, healthy, nutritious hot meals is so important during these times because everyone's just eating pizza. Like people are like, what can we, can we grab you some pizza? It's just like, no, please. Like is there fresh veggies
like
anywhere?
I'll eat it because it's hot and it's there, right? But like there is so much sodium and fat. Like I started just to feel heavy and tired, and I was already feeling tired and heavy emotionally.
Yeah, you'll take what you can get. But when it comes to like, I'm even thinking outside of a natural disaster, just when people need meals, I think that is a helpful anchor point of what would be good and welcomed here. Like, how can I provide like true nutrition to people whose bodies are very stressed, very worn down? Like what's going to be the best
sodium in
what's
them.
going to be the best fuel? And I think I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't gone through what we just went through. Granted, not everything is accessible at that time, but that's a helpful thing for me that I'm now keeping in mind just for even when there are individual crises that happen. Like maybe sending pizza isn't the most caring thing. Like maybe it is like some good chicken and veggies if I can swing it.
Yeah. So that's definitely the place I would send money. And again, if you want to support us directly, buywhatyoulovebook.com.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience domestic abuse in their lifetime. And nearly half of survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina started the Purple Leash Project to help eliminate one of the many barriers domestic abuse survivors face: a lack of pet-friendly domestic violence shelters. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters across the country, so abuse survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to get involved.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sounds like wipers. If your wipers are streaking, skipping, chattering, or even worse, loud, you need to visit AutoZone and get some fresh new blades. We've got basic wipers to get you back on the road, as well as premium blades from Bosch and Rain-X. So if you're hearing this, just head to your nearest AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and
Your teen requested a ride, but this time not from you. It's through their Uber teen account. You drive your teenager around, a lot, to their friend Jacob's house, their other friend Jake's house, to James's, to Jaden's, to Jalen's, to...
Mom? This is Jake's house, not Jacob's.
Now with an Uber teen account, your teen can request a ride under your supervision. They'll ride with a highly rated driver, and with live trip tracking, you'll follow along the whole ride to their friends' houses that all sound the same. Add your teen to your Uber account today. See app for details.
Bye, Mom.
This is Dr. Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab. Many people have questions about how to improve levels of happiness. Living a healthy lifestyle is one sure way of increasing happiness. And a good place to start is with your oral health. Just a few small changes to your oral care routine, such as changing your toothpaste to Colgate Total, can lead to beneficial changes in your oral health. Colgate Total helps stop oral health problems like gingivitis and cavities before they start. Because preventing oral health problems is a lot easier than treating them. Be dentist ready and get Colgate Total at shop.colgate.com/total.